And for more on this, Tom Homan, former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He's a Fox News contributor. I want you to listen to call for number 2 here. Some Democratic lawmakers are even upset.
There's a crisis at the border, and I don't know how anybody could pretend that there isn't.
I've talked to Secretary Mayorkas regularly. I've talked to the White House and to Jeff Zients and Tom Perez. There should be a coordinated national plan for where these migrants arrive, and Texas shouldn't have to bear the entire brunt, nor should Denver or Chicago or New York.
We are the collateral damage. We're the ones having to deal with this.
All right, so we have Mayorkas at the border today. You have increasing pressure from Democrats. Will anything change after this visit?
I don't think so, and it's what a coincidence that Mayorkas is heading to the border today when the numbers have been down for the past week. Where was it in November, December where we had historic numbers? And as far as the Democrats now raising the concern, where have they been for the last 3 years? You can tell it's election season, election's coming up, so they're playing the political game as usual.
Okay, so here is a soundbite from CBS on Sunday. All right, here's the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, taking on these questions as to whether or not House Republicans will go with the deal for the Senate.
Secretary Mayorkas is not a good faith negotiating partner. He is unwilling to enforce existing federal law. He's lied to Congress repeatedly. He's lied to me personally under oath. He stood in front of my committee on multiple occasions and insisted that the border is closed and secure when everyone in America knows it's not true. He's not a good faith partner.
That's also a semantic argument. You know
that's a matter of objective fact, and he has lied to Congress repeatedly.
Well, that is a matter of semantics in terms of people being apprehended.
So what he's talking about there is a bill in the House. It's called H.R. 2. And there's a lot in here that I don't know if the Senate and the White House is going to go for this. We've been debating this for 3.5 years, Tom. Require Department of State to negotiate with countries like El Salvador and Guatemala. It would require the DHS to resume activities related to building the wall. Do you see any daylight for something like this to be passed under this current Congress and president?
It has to. Bill, let me explain why. H.R. 2 is a recipe for success. And how do we know that? Because we did it under the last administration, under the Trump administration. All the elements of H.R. 2 are important. You can't piecemeal, we'll take this piece, we'll take that piece, because they're all interrelated. You got the whole parole policy that is being abused. You got the asylum system being abused. You got catch and release. You got the Remain in Mexico. These are major pillars of H.R. 2. And I talked to somebody earlier today. It's like making a cake. You got a recipe to make a cake. If you leave the elements out like flour or eggs, that cake's not going to be very good. The H.R. 2 is proven effective. I don't know why we would negotiate against ourselves. If the Democrats are serious, they really want to secure this border, they would accept H.R. 2 and implement it because it has proven to work. So I hope H.R. 2 is a big part of what I don't have a lot of faith in what Langford's bringing back. I don't think the House is going to approve what he brings back. I think it's going to be weak. I think they need to really look at H.R. 2. If they really want to fix the border, we have a proven plan that works. Here's how you do it.
Republicans, though, have a margin of like 2, I think, in the House. Langford is pretty much saying he can bring along his team there on the Republican side. And then the White House, of course, is run by a Democrat. And as you mentioned, it's an election year. The Wall Street Ed Board said Republicans don't reject border progress, that some in the House GOP want to preserve the chaos as a campaign issue rather than solving the problem. Is it your position that it would be better to get nothing if they can't get H.R. 2?
I think H.R. 2 is imperative. Yes, I do. And look, it's proven successful. Here's the problem. You got Langford is negotiating with Mayorkas, right? That's like talking to an arsonist how to put out a fire. He hasn't reached out to career law enforcement officers like myself or Mark Morgan or Rodney Scott, guys who spent decades on this issue, working for 6 different administrations on seeing what policies worked, what policies didn't. We haven't received one phone call on what we think would work and what we know has failed over the last 6 administrations. Why not bring the experts to the table like the Trump administration did, which ended with great success? Politicians talking to politicians never works. And it makes me sad to say that, but that's just a stone cold fact. You need the people who spent decades on this border and saw success and saw failure to help you find success. So I just hope they reach out and let us be a part of this, let us be a part of the solution so we can help fix this problem.
They haven't yet,
H.R. 2 is extremely important.
Yeah, they haven't.
112,000 dead Americans. 112,000 dead Americans, hundreds of known suspected terrorists, people off the terrorist watch list. We got 600% increase in sex trafficking of women and children. You got 1,700 migrants have died on U.S. soil. At what point is it enough to force real change and real success, which is going to save lives, not only of the migrants crossing the border, it's going to save lives of Americans by the thousands.
It might be smart politics in a campaign year, too, but it remains to be seen whether or not they concede to what you're looking for. Tom, thank you. Tom Homan with us today.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.